Hello. Hello, Clarice. Hey, we're live. And it's kind of dark over here in my studio corner. I don't know how to see if anybody's on, but if you are, please comment so that I know that you are. And yeah, you could probably share the live, wouldn't hurt. It's okay. But let's get down to it, shall we? Okay, so we are going to there we go. Alright, so I've invited some people. You guys go ahead and invite others. 30 minutes painting, talking about lights and shadows. Hey. Ugh. Grab my notes. Okay. So, working with lights and shadows. Oh, my reference picture's over on the table. It's good to have a reference photo for this. Having one on hand is obviously preferred. Thank you, my love. Having your assistant in the studio is also nice.
Yes, master, yes.
So this is the image that we pulled out of, was an architectural magazine. And it's perfect. It's chrome, plenty of lights and shadows. And it's good to just have an image like this to do a study like this on. And the purpose of doing a study like this is to get better with painting using lights and shadows. So we're going to use oil. And we are going to mix our paint first. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Now you can get the kits from Walmart, the paint kits, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Michael's. It's got all the colors in it. We are going to use white and black to make our grayscale. If you don't have a black, then you can use ultramarine and burnt umber and mix a black. Now, if you'd like to see that and watch me mix the black, then I can show you that. Because when you do that, you also get to control the warmth and coolness of the color. Because blue is cool, umber, the burnt umber is the warm color. So you can actually control the temperature of the gray. Now, what does that mean? Cooler temperature colors are more indicative of blue, because blue is a cool color. I don't have any grip left in my hand, so it hurts to do this. But warmer tones of gray are just going to be like on the more orangey side, and then cooler tones are more on the blue side. But the purpose of it is mood and tone. So say you have a grayscale and you're trying to make it warmer, it's probably because it's a warmer feel. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and start with mixing. And I'll just use the color that came in the thing. So this is ivory black. It's oil. It comes in this paint kit from Hobby Lobby, because there's no Michael's in Bentonville. And I'm just gonna let me show you. The stand thing's kind of cool, but like it freaks me out a little bit. And that is why. I want to show you, but I don't want you to fall over. Pause. Maybe like that. Okay. So, generous amount of black. And then copious amounts of white. Because I'm not going to do this with the paintbrush. We're going to do it with a palette knife. And we're going to make it thick for texture. So I'm going to do a basic 5-value range of grayscale, okay? And I'm going to explain that to you while I am doing this. So you can hopefully follow along and understand. If you have questions later, just put it in the comments and we'll go through it, okay? So we've got, let's square this up. Maybe this way. There we go. Alright, we got the black. We're going to do the white. Now we're going to do 5 different values of gray here. The whitest white and the darkest black, that's 2. So you're going to have 3 middle grays. Okay, you're going to have middle gray, dark gray, and then, I'm sorry, light gray, middle gray, and dark gray. And let me just squirt some of this out. So there's our whitest white. And what is that used for? That's used for highlights and wherever your brightest whites and brightest lights are going to be. Okay. Now, to break this up and make it simple and sort of to not make it any more complex than you're going to make it on your own. Okay. Don't make it hard. You're going to do it in percentages. So we have our whitest white and our darkest dark. Okay. See those two? Then we're going to do a 25% gray in that glob. And then we're going to make, that's our light gray. And then we're going to make a 50% gray in that blob. See my blobs? And then we're going to do a 75% gray in that blob. Now, how do we do that? Well, that's where you're going to take your black and add a portion of it to each blob. Okay, each blob should be just about even. This one's a little less. So, just think about it in percentages, okay? It's a pie. Think about it like a pie. Hi, Auntie Esther. So yeah, let's make our grays. We have, I'll show you, our darkest dark, our whitest white, and then our 3 middle tones here. And I'm going to mix some gray with it. Now, if you want, you can make it easy so you don't have to pull from your darkest, okay? But you've got the paint on your palette paper already, so you may as well. So we're just going to do that. And I'm going to take a portion of that and mix it in here. In this glob. Where's my camera? In this glob. Now, not as much black, but we're going to put some next to this glob. And that'll be the middle tone. Now, because we don't want too much, we're gonna put just what's left on the palette knife in this other pile, okay? Because that's distributing that black throughout this white so that you're getting your different values. So I'll start with the lightest one first, okay? And when you mix oil paint, and I'm going to show you this, hopefully that'll stay. When you mix oil paint, it takes a minute because you really want to integrate that in there. Now, if you don't want that and you want to keep it streaky, to each his own, okay? But the purpose of this study is to show lights and darks. So you're going to be able to control that with the level of gray that you make. And as you can see here, we have a light gray. And it's pretty well inundated and mixed. So I'm going to gather. And you can use 2 palette knives if you want, so that you can be super efficient with your paint. But I'm just going to gather it and slop it there. And then take this to the next one and start mixing that. And you can see already the different value. Now, if you don't think it's that different, add a little bit more, okay? This percentage and doing this on a 5 value scale is just to make it simplified for you. So I'm going to add a little bit more. And then we're going to go to the next pile because this just needs a little bit more. And the more that you sit and mix this, the better your value is going to be. Ooh, I'm about to spill my coffee. Pause. This table is shaky. Okay, so can you tell the difference in those two grays? I hope so. Alright, so we're going to gather and pile. Gather and pile. And then we're going to go ahead and mix this one here. Now this is oil paint. I do recommend wearing gloves. I just hadn't put them on yet. And you see how my palette paper just keeps coming up? You can tape this down onto whatever surface that you want. It does make it easier to clean. You can leave it attached in your palette paper book, which is what Jared usually does, and I'll just follow suit on that, just because it's easier. But I also like to reuse the same surface more than once, so I tend to tape it down. Okay, so we've got 3 different colors here. 3 different values, and then our darkest dark and our whitest white. Okay, now if you feel like you need to add another bit of the black pigment to this to make it darker, then by all means go ahead. But the purpose of this is just to show you in a more simplified way how to get these light values. Okay, so we've got our 5 values here of gray. We've got our photo reference. And we have a blank palette, or a blank canvas. So, what we're going to do is go ahead and paint. So, I'm going to put on my gloves. It's going to get messy. It's going to get messy. How you guys doing over in Guam? I know that there's a huge super typhoon hitting the Philippines right now, so I don't know how much of that you're getting. Sounds like you guys saw internet, so that's wonderful. Okay. Hopefully everybody's doing okay. Alright. Let's practice some value, shall we? Now I have the canvas up on the easel, but I might just stay sitting here and do this for you like this. Okay. Here's the photo reference. We're just using something I ripped out of a magazine. Best type of way to practice your paint and to do studies is to use images that are good quality or still life, like make your own. If you want good quality still life, you're going to want to, it passed you already? Oh, good. You're going to want to sort of study up on the type of lighting that you have in a painting, because there's different types. You have, you know, full on front light, which is like directly in front of the subject, straight on, literally exactly what it says, front light, bam, right in front of you. And of course it's going to add deep dark shadows behind whatever subject that you're going to have. So with subject like this, then you don't have to worry about the light. It's already integrated for you. If you're doing your own setup of still life, then you have to focus on the light. And there's different types of lighting for that. Now this type of lighting here, it kind of looks like, if you've ever seen a photography studio set up for still life, they've got lights on either side. So it's just a well-lit photo at this point, and we're just going to utilize it. Kind of takes the guesswork out of it. Now, because I like to work abstractly, I'm going to fold my image and eliminate all the noise, which is just the background of what I don't want to see. And I'm going to focus on just the image to recreate so that my brain doesn't overthink this. Because if there's more in the picture, then I get overwhelmed. And then, so you see how I'm reducing that down? then you don't really see what it is. Then you just kind of see shape and color, right? Like, that's all I see there. And then we're gonna utilize that on here, okay? And we're gonna go with our different values in doing this. But first, coffee. Okay. Let's see if I can show you how to do this. Alright. So we've got our values. And I'm keeping it very, very simple for you. Okay. White is white. Dark is dark. 3 different values of gray. Photo, image, reference. And since it wants to stand like that, I'll just do it like that. And we'll just go from there. Okay? We'll just go like, oh, maybe like this. So I can actually see it. How's that work? How's that look, honey? Oh, he's not in here. Okay, so what I see here in this image are some mid grays, right? You can obviously point out the brightest parts, which is that color there, and we're going to leave it. Then you got your darkest parts, and then you got your mids. What I'm going to go ahead and do is wipe off my palette knife, and we're going to start with the darkest darks. Okay? So I'm just going to swipe at this on my palette knife, and I'm just going to place part of this image on here. I'm working very abstractly, so I'm just pulling from this little tiny image, okay? So let's just say I've zoomed in and I want this shape right here is like this. And then across like this. It's kind of like that, okay? The purpose of this study is for lights and shadows, okay? And then not to make it representational. We're working abstractly with this, okay? Just come along with me for the ride. Alright, so then I'm going to work on that little square and pull this shape, as soon as I get it widespread enough, down. And then I have this shape here, which is like a Y, which will end up coming off this canvas a little bit, like that. I'm going to make it just a little bit wider here. And then at an angle here. And then like that. Okay. And then we have some dark shadows over here. So I'm just going to swipe that down like that. See that right there? That's all I'm working with. I'm just pulling shape and color here, guys. I'm not overthinking it at all. We're going to come down. Like that. And then... oh, whoopsie. I just got paint all over that. Yeah. Okay. Let me wipe that off our bust. Alright, now we can go in and you see how we're coming away from this dark and we're getting into our next value. So I'm going to go with that first dark shade and I'm going to add it right here because it's right next to that darkest dark. Okay? And then I accidentally got paint on this image, so let me see if I can wipe it off. Yeah. Okay. No paso nada. Everything's okay. Alright, now we're going to go in and add this second darkest shade where we see that at, which is right here, some of it. And then right down here. And I'm notorious for turning the painting, so we're going to turn it. Alright, and then let's see, we got some of that here, like that. And then, I don't know if you can see the image. I'm just pulling shape and color All right. Now, I'm going to pull, let's pull this. See, it's got a little bit of a whoop. And then I'm going to go into the next lightest light here. And I'm going to add that there. Because we're pulling away from this dark. Okay. I'm going to wipe off my palette knife. Because we're getting lighter, so it's going to affect it whenever you start adding the darker paint. And you're trying to lay down the lighter gray. But you can see the difference here. Alright, I'm going to get this light. And I'm going to go in right here. And just get that all the way up to here and pull that forward. Okay. And then I'm going to keep this on here and get just a little bit of the stark white. Because there's some brightest brights right there. And I'm going to lay it in the center and then I'm going to drag it from the end. And then I'm going to get some more of that. Wipe off the palette knife. Some more of that whitest white. Because there's just a spot of it. Right there's what I'm working at. And it's right here. And when you add that, when you're using palette knife and you add it, you just lay it on top. So I like, when I'm doing highlights with thick paint like this, I wipe off my palette knife. Lay it, pull it. Lay it, pull it. Okay. We're still working very abstractly, okay? Now the background in this picture is also gray. Hence the paper being gray. So I'm going to leave that the color of the canvas, okay? I'm not going to bother with that right now. So I'm going to turn this again this way, which would be this way in orientation. And then I'm going to go ahead and continue to work this part of the painting right here. So what that is going to entail is picking and choosing which of those grays is going to belong in each section. Okay. So I'm pretty much taking this area right here and just putting it and applying it. Now we've got 5 minutes and a time check. Does anybody have any questions about this 5 value scale or how to apply that? Because it's very simple. It breaks it down to where you're not overthinking the complexity of the black and white. And it kind of just makes it so you're forced to not make it difficult. And this is just, like I said, it's a study on light and shadow. You want to know where your shadows are. You want to know where your light's coming from. Whenever you're working your own still life that you've created, you want to know, like, the direction of the light, whether it's front, top, 3/4, which is mainly used. Like 3/4 lighting is mainly used. And the purpose of that is because you can accentuate light and shadow, but you can also still get good detail. Now, if anything is too dark or too light, you're going to lose detail. But the 3/4 is like the perfect amount of light in almost any kind of painting setting. So that's like portrait or abstract or still life. The 3/4 lighting is probably the most preferred. For this specific image, because I didn't create my own still life, I didn't have to worry about the lighting. They've got studio lighting on this. So I'm just worried about the color and the shape. And this is just broke down so that it's super abstract for me, because the way that my brain works is just shape and color. So yeah, that's just a quick breakdown of what we're working with. If you'd like more information on it, happy to help. I'm not an educator by any means. I'm just sharing what I know and learn. And hopefully, you know, getting people to where they're comfortable enough, like just jumping on and wanting to paint. Because you don't have to be live with me, but I do recommend, like, trying to paint as I paint. I mean, isn't that what Bob Ross did? Now, one thing I love, and we'll get into this later, one thing I really love about doing studies like this is if you use just one color, you could really focus on directional placement of the paint and how the light is hitting it and how that affects what the painting is. So you could essentially paint portraits or any painting with one color and use the texture and the lighting on the painting as like revealing what it is. It's super cool. There's videos out there on it. My cousin sent me one. But it's very, very cool stuff. And there's so many different artists and methods that you're never going to find the same. Like, it's always going to be different in some way. All right. Well, if nobody else has anything, I'm going to just go ahead and continue to paint this. And I will show you what this looks like probably after the fact. And it's because I want to make sure I go in and do my due diligence on it. As of right now, it's pretty cool, and if you use a lot of paint, you can get a lot of texture, but I do recommend studying and, you know, learning about this if you have the desire, and if you'd like to learn together, you know, obviously, I'm happy to help, but I'm just chilling and painting, so I appreciate y'all coming along for the ride. Don't forget to like and to share if you so choose, because it does help out. It doesn't just help me, it helps everybody else. And don't forget to just Van Gogh for it. Alright, I'm going to finish this, and I'm going to let it dry, and then I will go back in with some light and darks to add to that once it dries, which is also the fun part about using oil paint. Texture. Oh, the texture. Do you like ASMR? Do you like painting? Okay, I gotta go. It's 3 o'clock. Alright, thanks for joining. Okay, love you, bye. I can't hit the button now. It just says slow connection. There it goes.